Hey guys, we have reached 2000 subscribers, meaning it's the time to introduce myself properly. So this video is not about blowjobs or handjobs, but about me as a person. Usually when I meet people for the first time, they ask me about what I do for a living, and it's always very funny to see their reaction. Many of them become very uncomfortable and embarrassed, while some are very excited and amazed. Especially on the first dates, the moment I say this, it blows the guy's mind. So people ask me the same question over and over again. Why have you decided to start a career in this field? So in this video, I will tell you about my past, how I started this career, how I moved to United States from Russia. My past wasn't an easy one, but you always have a choice to remain where you belong or get out of your comfort zone and build your life the way you want. So I want to share with you how I got there and why I want to do this for the rest of my life. And maybe my story will become a good example for people who are not happy where they are. So let's get started. I have been working in the adult industry for over 8 years. I started my career in my hometown, St. Petersburg, Russia, as a salesperson at the adult store Pink Rabbit at the age of 18. I always had a lot of interest towards sex. Sex has been like a science for me. Even before I lost my virginity, I was trying to gather as much information about sex as possible so I could do my best during the first time. However, the legit information about sex and techniques was hard to find, and of course in Russia there was no sexual education at schools. So I saw my peers getting pregnant, getting STDs all the time, just because nobody explained us shit. I was inspired to start a career in this field because I saw how many problems people had because of sex and the lack of information and communication about it. When I was a teenager, my views were shaped and inspired by Freud, Larry Flint, and Madonna. All these people were promoting sexual expression, which was so repressed in Russia. Reading Madonna's biography at the age of 11 made me strongly believe in American dream. When I started to have sex, I wanted to explore it all, and hormones played a big role in it as well. So I was experimenting with the role play and other kinky things pretty early. And once I started to have a crush on my friend. He was just a body, but for some reason I started to look at him in a sexual way. I started to put a lot of effort to get out of friend zone, and after one of my attempts, he asked me, "Why don't you try to work at the adult store? I think you would have done great there." So we made a bet that I would get hired at the adult store. I applied when I was a couple months away from being 18. However, the HR manager Igor, who hired me and taught me about the product, saw my potential, interest and knowledge and let me work unofficially until I turned 18. Fortunately, it was the largest Russian adult retail chain, 60 stores, which had opened up great career opportunities for me. So this chain had a very organized education process, and before you actually start working at the store, you needed to pass a test following the week of the lectures about sex toys, materials, sales techniques, etc. After the week of lectures, I took an exam and my results were the best in this group. So from my very first try, I was hired and I was happy to find something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I started at the Pink Rabbit store on Nevsky Prospect. It's the heart of St. Petersburg with a lot of tourists, where I met my colleague who became my best friend, Roman. He was 20 years older than me and he was obsessed with the industry. So he taught me a lot, and then we started to build our careers together. We talk to each other pretty much every day still, even though we are thousands of miles away. So I was opening and closing the store, and I was the only person there during my shift. So I carefully learned all the products. My sales were so great that we outperformed all the targets, and I was moved to the flagman location where there was not only a store, but also a headquarters. So the owner of Pink Rabbit noticed how great I was at sales, and he also was a very famous social person in St. Petersburg, and he started to send me his rich friends and their girls for the consultations and sex toy shopping. My customers always returned to me, and many of them claimed that I saved their marriages. When I started to receive this kind of feedback, I was confident about my future. I wanted to help people and make the world a better place by solving their sex-related issues. However, it was also my first year at the University of Economics and Finance, and it was very challenging to balance my career and studying. Later, I was offered a position in the HR department, where my responsibility was to teach new salespeople about the product. I put together 1 week of lectures for the adult store employees with a manual that the company still uses, and that's when my career took off. Besides that, I worked as a consultant for couples at the first Russian sexual wellness center, where I was given workshops about anal sex, role games, sex toys, etc. to couples or just curious people or to our returning customers. By then, I was 20 years old. I was very busy with 2 jobs, and my university noticed that I was missing a lot of classes. So after they found out where I was working, they became furious because it wasn't allowed to work and study full-time. Plus, sex toys was also a kind of taboo for them. So they wanted to kick me out the first year of the studying. But then they realized that actually I got all the assignments done and I had a real work experience which nobody else had as a student. So they let me stay, and our relationships with the professors were becoming only warmer over the time. A year after, I became a buyer and I started our OEM project or private label that led to our success in Russian market. So basically we have launched a line of our own sex toys to sell via our 60-store chain. I went to China to meet the factories, made some deals, and in 1 year we had 30 new items under our own brand. So as I graduated from St. Petersburg University of Economics and Finance, I presented my final project based on this private label that we made with Pink Rabbit. So I gave all of my professors gifts with our products and they were really happy. One professor had issues with her husband, and after my presentation and after receiving the gift, she came and said, "Thanks for the gifts, because me and my husband are too shy to even come to the adult store, and we've been together for 10 years and we were about to divorce." So I was really happy to make somebody happier in their marriage. So with Pink Rabbit, I attended the trade shows in Hanover, Berlin, Amsterdam, Shanghai. I established direct contracts with all major brands, and our profit was skyrocketing. I was promoted to the head of the buying department, and this was a peak of my career in Pink Rabbit. So I became a head of buying department for 60 stores at the age of 21. So in the beginning, people didn't really take me seriously because I was so young, but then they saw the results. And me and my boyfriend were trying all the products ourselves to decide if it was worth it to bring it into Pink Rabbit. So that's basically the buyer's job. You have to find the right product. So my kitchen at home was full of the products sent me from different manufacturers and different vendors. In 2018, I had everything. 2-bedroom apartment, boyfriend, and we were about to get married, a very high position in the industry that I really loved, but I didn't feel happy because I was living in Russia. So I made a decision to move to Los Angeles, the homeland of sex toy industry. United States had always been my dream, so I decided to take the risk and move to California without any perspective or work offers. So as we say in Russia, who doesn't take risk does not drink champagne. So first I came to States for 2 weeks in 2018 to attend the industry trade show in Los Angeles as a Pink Rabbit buyer. And from the minute I walked out of the airport, I realized that it was home. I went to XB's awards show where companies and industry people were receiving awards for their achievements in our industry. I was thinking, when I get one of these, it will be a big step of my career. At the show, I met Frank, the director of sales for Kira, who is now my boss. And from there, I brought Kira interactive toys to the Russian market. When I came back to Russia, I said to my family at inbedwKate that I would never be happy in Russia and I'm moving in 3 months. So that's what I did. I prepared all papers, transferred my diploma, got driver license and just moved here with 2 suitcases. To finish my career at inbedwKate and to announce to my partners from overseas my decision, I decided to go big and organize the first ever professional show for foreign manufacturers and salespeople of our retail chain in St. Petersburg, inbedwKate Fest. So sales rep of companies like Doc Johnson, V-Vibe, Swiss Navy, Pipe Dream, Satisfyer, NS Novelties, and many others attended my event, followed by a week of meetings, excursions, parties in St. Petersburg. So how my life in America started is a different topic, and if you want, I can tell you all about it in another video. Comment below if you want another video about my moving to States and everything I've gone through. So I moved right after the inbedwKate Fest, and luckily at that time Swacom, a brand of sex toys, had just started to develop the US market, and I joined the company as a West Coast sales rep couple months after I moved. My main responsibility was developing wholesale accounts. So meaning Swacom is the manufacturer of sex toys, and I needed to find the retailers or distributors for them on West Coast, then train their salespeople and suggest sales boost strategies. During those 4 years, I visited all West Coast states, participated as an exhibitor in all major US B2B trade shows, and met hundreds of business owners. The majority of them have become our clients, and some of them have become my good friends, and I consider them as a family. Our cooperation with Swacom lasted for 4 years until May 2022, when I joined Kira, the first brand of interactive sex toys from Amsterdam. Traveling was a big part of my job because I needed to do in-store trainings for salespeople. But once the pandemic started, I couldn't do it anymore. So my friend Nick, who works in the movie industry, suggested to do some YouTube videos just for fun, just in order not to get crazy during the lockdown. I had no idea about the video production, and I didn't even do Instagram much because I always love to live in the present moment, and social media have never been a big part of my life. So it was just more of the distraction from the apocalypse, and I agreed because I did need this distraction. Nick made some research and turned out there was a big demand for sex educational content on YouTube. And that's how I started my YouTube channel inbedwKate, dedicated to sex education, sexual wellness, and sex toy reviews. Me and Nick first thought about it like a temporary hobby. And then, you know what happened? I committed to do 1 video per week, and I've been doing it since then. Not only for salespeople of the adult stores, but also for general public. Because in many countries like India, there is no access to sex education, and people really need this information, like I needed it when I couldn't find it when I was trying to prepare myself for my first time in Russia. In 2021, I was nominated for the XB's Award Community Figure of the Year. So this is the major award in our industry, and this is a worldwide kind of thing. So in 2022, I finally won an award in the same category as I dreamt in 2018 when I attended the show for the first time. In 2022, me and Frank, sales director of Kira, met for the first time after the pandemic at the industry show in Los Angeles. We always used to be good friends and loved hanging out with each other at the industry shows all over the world, but this time was different because he also realized that he needed somebody on the ground in the United States to present their brand. When I lived in Russia, Amsterdam was my favorite European city, and I visited very frequently. I have a special relationship with Kira, and I have a special warm attitude towards Amsterdam. The world is going digital, and Kira, in my opinion, is a company that has always been a couple steps ahead, looking into the future. So they are manufacturing high technological products that connect to VR porn, webcam, videos, and control via the app. I'm sure that together with Kira we can achieve a huge success in the United States and introduce groundbreaking features that American customer deserves. So I'm happy to share this new chapter in my life with you, my dear subscriber. So hope now you have some impression about me, who I am as a person, and how much this industry means to me. I wish all people wake up happy to start their workday, and it's a big gift when you do what you like. Comment below what else you would like to know about my life, and I'll be happy to share in my next videos. And I'll see you next time in bed with Kate.